Well, welcome to a rainy Hampstead Heath, and the song of the day would have to be Paul Simon's Mother and Child Reunion. The subject at hand, yesterday at Westminster Magistrates Court, the US versus Julian Assange, forcing the US-UK extradition treaty of 2006, Judge Baraitser had to eat her own words. Her mistaken, erroneous belief that this trial could proceed on the 18th of May, she now admits no longer, and November being one of the possible new dates. What she'd failed to do in the light of this evidence, and the defence and the prosecution agreeing on the delay due to not only the legal access at Belmarsh, but the pandemic crisis that we currently find ourselves amid. She failed to take the logical and the legal correct path without considering his bail at this last hearing, but on Monday the 4th it may be an issue, but at the moment they're still trying to arrange the dates for the full trial. So District Judge Baraitser has a choice. Is her legacy and her infamy of being a hanging judge who sent a respectable journalist, an honest purveyor of the truth, to American rendition and 175 years of isolation and torture and death, more likely. This is what her legacy will be, and she has to pick a very fine line indeed, again, on the legal precedent, the statutes and the misrule of her law. And she knows that the higher courts are going to look at her judgments and be trying to pick holes where she is obviously shown bias and favoured one side in terms of her predetermined judgments that she appears to have written before hearing any submissions from either defence or prosecution. And this will be picked over for decades to come by legal experts, scholars and students in how not to be a judge and the mistakes that judges make in terms of their rulings, and the fact that English legal jurisprudence is mightier than Judge Baraitser's prejudice. So just to keep on the case, May the 4th will be, I'm presuming, at Westminster, since no physical bodies need appear any day soon at the British legal court system, and I shall try and keep abreast of what is going on until then. Please keep the comments coming. There have been some very helpful exchanges of information and very useful links to videos and articles, etc. Obviously dominated by the Julian Assange case and somewhat featuring the pandemic, the global pandemic, of which we are all currently under the auspices of. And as far as the UK government's delayed response, and every day they dither and argue about the statistics and refuse to acknowledge the huge number of institutional deaths and the huge number of home deaths indeed, and the statistics that the puppet media are quoting are the hospital deaths, without really enlightening the public of all the other deaths in any given news bulletin. And of course, when it's edited down to short clips of 30 or 1 minute, the message is further concentrated and the facts further diluted. So please keep yourself safe, respect your own quarantine and lockdown rules, and the government at the moment realise that people are on the move, and the figures on the traffic camera spying is that traffic's doubled from a 10% up to nearly 20% of what it originally usually would be. And this is a sign that people are breaking the curfew, breaking the lockdown, breaking the quarantine, regardless, because they are sick of it and they feel in their own minds they're taking the right precautions, keeping the social distancing going, etc. So there are valid arguments on both sides, but the government will have to react at some point, and the rumour is that they want to ease some of the restrictions on work and movement. So another thing that we need to keep up to date with. Every day, another delay, another death in the thousands currently that could have been avoided had we taken sensible precautions some weeks, if not months ago, when the information was widely available on how to deal with such a pandemic. You have press on the heath, wet or dry, snow or sun. Be back.